All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and doing it in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, so we got some sad news about Jack Russell, former lead vocalist for the band Great White. And Great White, just someone needs to write a book about everything that's happened with Great White over the years. Before I get to that news, this band I've been sharing, and I think I'm the only one probably sharing this album. It's the Leaf Lew band. It's called Mighty Fine. Leaf is Leif, and then De. These are two separate words, and then Liu, Leeuw, and then band. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. So if you wanted to look that up, you've got a visual now, and you got some mushrooms. What does this sound like, Dave? Well, um, some Allman Brothers, some West Coast rock in there, um, just some traditional Americana vibes going on, but a very polished sound to it. So it's not rough around the edges. It's very listenable. So again, if you like something with a bit of a Southern rock flavor to it and off the beaten track, um, this band is from Holland. So there's some weird stuff going on. Not as much here in the States and other countries where they appreciate the music that happened here 40, 50 years ago. That's what's going on. It's bizarre. I mean, if we're not going to keep it alive, apparently people in other countries like it more than we do, and they're producing it. So this story about Jack Russell, pretty sad. Ex Great White singer Jack Russell, diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, announces retirement from touring. He says to my fans and friends, it is with the heaviest of hearts that I must announce my retirement from the road. After a recent diagnosis of Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy, I am unable to perform at the level I desire and at the level you deserve. He says here, words cannot express my gratitude for the many years of memories, love, and support. Thank you for letting me live my dreams. He says here, you have made my life a wonder. Lewy body dementia is the second most common cause of neurodegenerative dementia after Alzheimer's disease. I don't think there's any cure for this. It leads to motor and muscle weakness and rigidity. It can also cause sleep disorders and hallucinations. It makes decision making difficult and impacts memory. Lewy body dementia is often misdiagnosed as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's due to its early similarity to those other neurodegenerative diseases. As a side note, actor Robin Williams took his own life back in 2014. The autopsy revealed that he was suffering from LBD. So he had the same thing, which I didn't know until I read this article. So, in any event, that's sad news for a band that has had a very just tumultuous existence. I know Jack Russell isn't currently in Great White. Um, he broke up with that band, but every time I hear about Great White, I think back to when I worked at Nichols College, basically doing a volunteer type radio show. It was called Lost and Found Rock Radio. And I used to play all the stuff that I'm still complaining about that's not being played on the radio. I literally just filled in all the gaps and played all of this music, and I had a pretty good following. But I would go up to the studio, and there was this plaque on the wall, and it was a tribute to a DJ who went to the Station nightclub in Rhode Island to interview Great White. His name is Jimmy Gahan, and it's just heartbreaking to think about this. But he went there to try to get an interview, and he died in what turned out to be the fourth worst nightclub disaster in history, where 200 people were injured and 100 people were killed, including Jimmy Gahan. Um, he was only 21 years old, and I was an older dude at that point. I was just doing, a nostalgic radio show. He was an actual DJ at the radio station, a college kid doing what college kids do. I completely related to him because I spent 4 years in college radio and I didn't want to leave college radio. I wanted to keep going. I would have stayed another semester just so I could continue playing music at college radio, but I was hired by a regular radio station. So I was like, okay, I'm out of here. But Jimmy Gahan was loved in his community. And that station nightclub fire just devastated a lot of people. And it kind of left a little bit of a curse hanging over this band. Now, some people blame the guy who shot the pyrotechnics off. Some people blame the club, which was way beyond capacity. It's a small place, and the exits apparently weren't marked properly. I mean, there's so many things went wrong. That insulation or whatever it was, that foam insulation just went up so quickly. It was like gasoline was embedded in it or something. The flames were just too much, and 100 people couldn't get out of there. People were dying very close to the exits. They just didn't know where the exits were. And I've heard stories. I've heard just horrific stories about what happened. And, the result of that was, okay, this band is going to go on, and they did for a while. But they've had some really bad, you could just say bad luck, like almost like a curse has hung over this entire thing. And they can't seem to keep a lead singer for very long. Obviously, Jack Russell left Great White, and I don't know if that was as a result of all this stuff, but maybe just stupid disagreements, but they've never been the same. The band was never the same after this incident. And even to this day, my friend Mitch Malloy was in this band for a while, and he's a good guy. And I think he classed it up a little bit, gave them a little shot in the arm, but they wanted somebody a little bit more, I don't know, like Jack or whoever. And at this stage, so long as you've got a good front man and he can sing, so I mean, the bar is really low at this point. Does he sound exactly like the original singer? No. But he was a good entertainer and a good front man, and they probably should have apparently they didn't get along, right? People didn't like one another. So you're in that organization, and people are focusing too much on the good-looking lead singer, and they're not paying attention to the rest of the guys in the band. We need to hire somebody who the ladies aren't going to pay attention to. So that's, I think, what they went and did. But again, kind of a curse hanging over that band to some degree. People have forgotten a little bit about the station nightclub fire, but I don't know how you forget that. I mean, it was a little over 20 years ago. Doesn't seem that long ago in my memory, but working in that studio, I felt like, the ghost of Jimmy Gahan was there with me to some degree. You look at the plaque and you're just like, this kid just went to see a show and now he's not here. So you should thank God every single day that, he keeps you here, because you never know the weird things that are going to happen. Before I go, one more plug for the Leaf DLU band. Also want to tell everybody Modern Retro Radio this weekend. So that's coming up. Today's Friday, right? You'll see this video on Friday. Modern Retro Radio playing independent artists like these guys. Now, I'm not saying they're playing these guys. I will suggest that they should, if they see the video, or if I communicate with my buddy Audi, I'll say, hey, man, you should check out this band. And he probably will, because he's that kind of a guy. I told him the other day, about that Jerry Beckley song that I shared with everybody over on Patreon. And he was pretty excited about that because they tend to play all the music that radio doesn't play by people that you know. I mean, the guy from America, a band that should be in the Hall of Fame, and that's low hanging fruit for modern retro radio. That's what they do 24/7. A great radio station online at modernretroradio.com. So check them out. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to support this channel, you can do it via Patreon and YouTube memberships and also through Buy Me a Coffee. There will be links in the description of this video. And I'll be back soon. So I'll see you then.